Hi guys, so this will be my review of Shokugeki no Soma chapter, what chapter is it? 182! Great start. However, I'm not gonna do this review chronologically because I feel like this story is basically just split up into two parts, so I'm gonna start with the Soma Kuga part of the story. And we basically follow as Soma, Kuga, and his minions are following this dude who's I think he's a hunter. They're going into the mountains and snowy mountains looking for bears. Still think that's a really weird idea. But whatever. And they follow him, and we basically, like, most of the stuff that's not focused on the thing that I'm gonna talk about in the latter half of my review is basically just focused around the two of them having fun together. So Kuga is apparently very not good, very not good, great sentence, with the cold, and he really wants some milk tea or some chai, but the only thing they have is coffee, so he's just acting like a spoiled brat, saying how he doesn't want the coffee. And when someone tells him that, okay, if you're this bad to cold, why did they come, he kind of just counters with, Rindo is even worse with cold. And I'm thinking now, since we've seen Kuga and Rindo so much together, and since Kuga always seemed to talk about Rindo, maybe they have some sort of, like, relationship, like, not in a romantic way, but, like, they're close in the, yeah. I feel like Rindo just in general is a very sociable person. Like, obviously she has history with Tsukasa based on the, what's it called, the Betsubara mini thing that we saw with the two of them as children. And in general she seems to just, like, not get along with everyone, but talk to everyone. So I'm wondering, yeah. I'm beginning to wonder and want more about her character because it feels like she's so open, yet we don't know anything about her. But on to Kuga. So Kuga and Soma, they talk a lot again about the bear meat, and Kuga mentions that Soma really needs to find a unique way of using this bear meat because just using the odor as part of the deliciousness, that's not gonna be enough because Kuga says that Hayama will probably do the same thing and he will do it to perfection. So Soma needs some really good new idea that Hayama won't be able to think of, and that will be so creative that it can just kind of blow Hayama out the park because he's kind of facing expulsion here if he can't make it. And then by the end we have Soma basically leaning back on a tree, then falling into the snow, and then him looking at the tree and being like, this might be the answer to all of my questions. And then the chapter stops and we have no clue what the hell, because as I said in, must have been like 5 or 10 chapters back, I don't know, but it was the first exam in this arc where Soma, Alice, and Kurokiba were like, we need to find that ingredient, and we were like, there's no point because 99% of the people reading this manga, we don't really know about all the technical stuff, so we won't be able to look at the tree and be like, oh my god, this tree, could it be the magical flower? Like, we don't know. And again, the solution to 5 or 10 chapters ago was like a salmon that has been caught in spring and then frozen down or something. Like, who would have guessed that? It's not as exciting as when Luffy from One Piece goes, I've got this new technique, and then he does something and we're like, oh my god, what kind of technique is this? Because then it's like, okay, we can speculate about that. We can be like, okay, is this gonna be muscle based? Is it gonna be speed based? What's it gonna be like when he, when we ended the chapter, like, now I'm just going One Piece, but we ended a chapter, if you're not reading One Piece, where Luffy basically goes Gear 4th, and we know, okay, Gear 4th, so it's an extension, or like a level up from Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. What is Gear 4th then? It has to be different from the 2 other gears. You see what I'm getting at here? It has to, I hate these kind of cliffhangers in Shokugeki no Soma. Like, that's the one thing I have against this manga, because there is no point unless it's something like, it's the answer to our question, is bananas! Like, it has to be something that we can speculate on, and it wouldn't be like different if we, or it had to be different if we knew what he was talking about, because Soma could literally in this chapter have been like, this tree, could it be the magical seed moon flower tree, and it wouldn't have made a difference because we would have no clue what the hell that is. You see what I'm getting at here? That kind of annoys me. So that was the weak part of this chapter. Let's get into the good stuff, because I think the best part of this chapter was definitely the story that Kuga told Soma, even though we kind of started with this flashbacky thing, and then Kuma told us that he was telling Soma the story. I don't know. Either way, he's telling Soma a story about how the new members of the Elite 10 came to be. And we start off, I'm just gonna go all in flashback mode. So basically, before the promotion exams, Asami held a battle royale, where a lot of people that he handpicked himself were able to participate, and basically the 3 people left standing, or in this case, I guess, having been, I guess, opponents and then made better fruit than whoever were there, they would be accepted into the Elite 10. And that's how Hayama got in. Before all of this though, before we found out this Battle Royale thing, we have Rindo, again Rindo, I want to know more about her. We have Rindo complaining about the fact that Ishiki, the 3rd seed, and Kuga being thrown out of the Elite 10, and we have Asami saying, well, it's all for the good of Central, so it had to be done. And we see this really great shot of the Elite 10 members basically sitting around this table, and then Asami also there. And what's really interesting is that they have changed the table that they're all sitting around. Before Central, before Asami, they had a round table, like, you know, Arthurian legend round table kind of deal. So I guess this was the kind of table where they all had like an equally valued opinion. So even though the 1st seed and the 10th seed were arguing about something, the 1st seed didn't have authority because they were all part of like the same council. Just because one was a better chef didn't mean that he gets to like choose everything. Maybe. I don't think this was specified at any point in the series. I might be wrong. But yeah, I think that basically the Elite 10, there's a hierarchy between who is the better chef, but not who has the most to say in the council, because when it comes down to it, why should your abilities in cooking help you, or how could your abilities in cooking help you counsel a school? Like, that doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, as I said, this is no longer a round table. We have, I don't know what the tables are called. I don't even know what it's called in my own language, but it's a long table. It might just be called long table, whatever. Where we have Asami at the end and then the Elite 10 in their respective order. So we have, like, if I'm doing this from your perspective, we have Tsukasa, Rindo, then an empty 3rd seed, and then it kind of goes on from there. And at this point in the story then, because I did count them, Asan was still the 9th seed, so Hayama, they must have like decided, okay, so after seeing their skills or after battling some of the Elite 10 members, like the original the original Elite 10 members, they must have decided what the order would be. And this then raises the question, it would make sense for all these new Elite 10 members to take the 10th, the 9th, and the 8th seed. And from what we see in this chapter, Hayama is just super overpowered. Yet, of these 3 people, we can assume that at least one of them was better than Hayama, which is just really interesting because we have this guy, this really strong guy who, he's a 3rd year who kind of looked like Mimasaka with just shaved, and he's really big, and he basically, he obliterated the dude who Kurokiba beat to keep the cutting edge RS. I don't remember his name, the dude with all the crosses and stuff. You know who I'm talking about, you read the chapter. But yeah, he says that Hayama's cooking was like out of this world. It was like he had entered some sort of god's world and he was tasting the cooking of the devil itself or something along of that. And Kurokiba? What am I talking about? Kuga even says that Hayama, ever since entering Central and the Elite 10, he's basically just consuming himself with the dark magic that is Central's ideals, or something like that. I feel like Hayama's motives are just getting fishier and just, they're shady as hell. Like, I don't know what's up with him, because I feel like, as I've said so many times, Hayama fights for June and all of that, and there's something fishy about him, but even like, if he's just all for Central, I'm just having a hard time understanding what Hayama's like, what he wants and why he wants what he wants. Like, that's just, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. I want Hayama to kind of, I want like an internal monologue just because I want to know what he's thinking. I completely forgot to mention that when the Battle Royale starts, we have the Elite 10 members kind of discussing amongst themselves who they think will be left standing. And then Rindo goes, well, obviously, the Elite 10 members will find by the end of this will all be third years, because in the Tutsuki before Central, it was super hard to just get to your third year. We knew that the rate of the amount of people that graduated Tutsuki was like 10%, so of course, like, from the start where we had like really a lot of people and to the point where people graduated, 90% of all those people would get expelled or just drop out because of something. So it's, yeah, the being able to be third years, as Hayama does so elegantly in this chapter, has to take skill, especially because all of these people were handpicked by Asami. It might actually, because of that, it might actually have made the competition just a little bit easier than it would have been if it had just been like everybody, because Asami probably chose not only good chefs but also chefs he knew would be like, okay, I won't go against Central. So obviously none of the rebels were there, because, I mean, an obvious candidate for an Elite 10 would be Alice, but Alice has publicly spoken against Asami, so she wouldn't be invited to stuff like this. But yeah, what is then interesting is that we have a panel of the last three people who are standing and then the new members of the Elite 10, and we have Hayama, and then we see the other two with their backs turned and in the shadows, so of course we're not gonna see these new people. But then I'm like, okay, we're not seeing these people. Have we then seen them before? Because 99% of the time where you refuse to show someone is when you've already met the character, because you could just have like a new random character and then show their face and we'd be like, oh, that's a cool design, but we don't know you. Like, there's no point. There could be like, it's a very good looking page where we have like, okay, so now we know that we have Hayama in the 9th seed, we don't know who the other two are. I mean, it could be symbolism like that, but I feel like at least one of these people we've met before, and I actually have a guess as to who this character might be, because as soon as I saw that page, I was like, I feel like I've seen these people before. And I'm gonna take you back. I'm gonna show you the panel in just a bit, but I'm gonna take you back to episode 3 and also chapter 3 of this series. The very iconic time in the series where Soma has his speech and tells everyone that he's basically gonna use this academy as a stepping stone and thus making everybody from his year hate him. But before Soma has his speech, since Simon has a speech about how the elites will be standing and the ones that are not good enough to like climb those steps, they'll be left behind. And then we have this very, it's kind of a generic introduction to new characters, because we have this spread. It's like one page where we just see a bunch of characters, and in the anime they were very smart with just showing the people that were gonna be important in the first season. So we saw the Polar Star Dawn, we saw the Aldini brothers, we saw Alice and Kurokiba, and I think we even saw like Hayama and Hojo, and maybe, I don't think we saw Hisako actually, but at that point we'd already met her, so it wasn't really important. But yeah, that's what we saw in the anime. In the manga, however, the only people we saw that we have actually met are the Aldini brothers, and I'm gonna show you the picture now. See guys, you see this girl with the glasses? I feel like she might be the new one in the Elite 10. She has the dark hair, we don't know how long it is, she could very well, like here she's not having her hair in a braid, but she could like change that. And I feel like, because we haven't really met any of these people except for like the Aldini brothers, whose design has really changed. But look, we have like this girl and these people who we don't know of. Like, that kind of looks like Kurokiba, but it's not Kurokiba. Also, this dude here might kind of be the dude with the long hair, but I doubt it. I feel like only one of these people are gonna be part of the new Elite 10. And then another person is gonna be new, or someone who's not from like these panels here. But yeah. Do you think she looks like the girl? Maybe?
leave in the comments below.
So basically now in the Elite 10, as new members, we have Hayama, a girl we might have seen once before, and then possibly a new person whose gender I can't really tell. I mean, they might not be new characters, and I just have a bad memory of people who have designs like that, but I feel like they are relatively new characters, or at least characters we don't know the name of. But yeah, you can tell me in the comments below, give me your theories about who you think these people are. But I think that will do for my review. I feel like this chapter was kind of one of those chapters where we got a lot of information, but we didn't really get any information. Like, we already knew that Hayama was part of the Elite 10, we knew that 2 other people either, like, they had to recruit 2 new people or they already had done so. We knew that Soma was, like, in the mountains to find a way to beat Hayama with the bear meat, so obviously he was gonna find some clues, and we didn't even get the clue, so that's and then we had like tidbits of information and interaction, but nothing we can really like do anything but speculate about. So it was a good chapter art-wise, but information-wise and story-wise it was kind of average, maybe just above average. Yeah, I think the best part of the chapter was definitely like the beginning with all of the Elite 10 members, because I really feel like they are such a fun group to just read about, and when they're interacting it's just so funny, because I didn't even say that, like, Rindo had Tsukasa make tea for all of them even though he's like the first seed. I just thought that was a really fun moment because it just shows that their dynamics are not necessarily what you might have expected from them if you didn't know anything about them. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Also, on a side note, if you don't know, Charles' Anime World is doing his 100th review of Shokugeki no Soma this week, so today, or it'll be up tomorrow, or whenever. And it's gonna be a special video, and if you don't already know him and watch his videos, then I highly suggest that you go and support him and give him a lot of love, because 100th review of Shokugeki no Soma, that's like a milestone, and he's a really good reviewer, so yeah, go show him some love. I'll link his channel in the description below. But yeah guys, as always, leave a thumbs up on the video if you liked anything that I had to say. Leave in the comments below what you thought of the chapter, and if this is the first video you've seen of mine, I normally do reviews of Shokugeki no Soma, obviously, One Piece, Haikyuu, from this week, Boku no Hero Academia, and the One Piece anime. So if you're into any of those, then subscribe to me, and until next time, bye!